Hi, it's me, Bay. Glad to be back here with you at Sense Thinking. I have a fun project that I want to share with you. It's a new zine, a new publication that I've started with my daughter about intuition development, especially for teens. And so in today's video, we're gonna talk about the first issue and go a little bit deeper into the three ways that you can improve your intuition. So three fast, ordinary ways that you can improve your intuition. So here we go. You can find this zine at artschoolmystics.com. And if you're lucky enough to live in the Pioneer Valley of Massachusetts, you can also find it locally at some stores. So if you do live locally and you want to get a copy, you can send me an email. I'll put all that information below. And I also want to say, before I get too far into this, if you have questions about intuition development, send them along, drop them in the comments, and we can either make a zine about it, or I can answer some of those questions right here on this channel. So this is issue number 1, activate your intuition superpower. Your intuition is natural and ordinary, completely ordinary, and incredibly magical and powerful. What is intuition? It is direct knowing. I know, but I don't know how I know, you know? So what's the difference between intuition and other forms of knowing? Well, typically, if we're talking about other forms of knowing, like, say I'm reading something in a book, or I'm watching something on YouTube, searching something up online, there's information, and then there's the medium that's conveying the information to me. And so oftentimes the way you and I pick up information is we're looking at the medium, the thing in the middle that's conveying the information to us. So it could be that book, or that YouTube video, or that internet site. But direct knowing means that you are directly accessing the source of information, and you're receiving that information through your sensing. Okay? Intuition, I would say, is a lot like any of your senses, just as you can smell the fragrance of a rose, and you're receiving that information directly from the rose itself, right? But sometimes you can even imagine the smell of a rose. You can probably do that right now, and then you can kind of experience the smell of a rose. So where is that information coming from? There's something very similar about just the nature of intuition itself, where the information is coming directly to you. And today I'm going to talk to you about how do you turn up the volume on the signal of your intuition. So here are 3 ways that you will find your intuition operating every day. And the first one is the feeling when the answer clicks. So it's that feeling when you've been trying to remember something and the right answer finally clicks. This is a really special moment, because this is the moment when your mind and body were first sort of not fully aligned, and then suddenly line up. That lining up, your mind and body awareness are aligned. That feeling is a fast way to become more intuitive, to become more sensitive to the signal of your intuition. So here's an example of that. Imagine that you're out and you run into somebody in the store, somebody who you know, but you can't remember their name. And so you go back home and you're talking to your family, and you say, oh, I saw that person from school. I saw them in the grocery store, but I could not remember their name. What is their name? Is it Jane? Is it Jessica? Is it June? And then you remember, oh, it's Jan or Janet, whatever her name is. Let's say it's Jan. All of those other names were close. right? You were kind of remembering something about it, but even though they were close, you didn't have that feeling. You knew it wasn't quite right. It wasn't until you said the right name that it finally clicks. So that moment, pay attention to that moment. Just pay attention the next day or the next week when that happens, and then start noticing, oh yeah, this is how my body is telling me that my intuition is lining up. Okay. Here's another example of this question of lining up. Intuition is also the feeling when your mind might say one thing, your mind maybe says yes, but your heart says no, or the other way around. Okay. That moment when you're feeling one thing in your heart and thinking something else, or maybe it's the time when you're feeling something and thinking the same thing, you're lining up. Again, noticing those subtle differences in that feeling between those two. An example would be if someone wants to give you a piece of cake and you like cake, and yet, so that would usually be a yes. Your mind would say yes to that cake, but your heart, for some reason, is telling you, no, don't eat that cake. Just a subtle little feeling. That is a wonderful moment to pay attention to. Also to notice how often your head will override your heart, or maybe your heart takes the lead. I would highly recommend that you start learning how to let your heart take the lead. However, this is not a video about what you should or shouldn't do. This is really a video about learning to pay attention to those little moments that you can easily overlook in the course of a day. So, for example, when you notice those two, your heart saying one thing and your mind saying something else, simply becoming aware is already a huge step to increasing your intuition. And number two, it's a great opportunity for you to figure out just why there's a conflict between your head and your heart. Okay, number three. Here's another one. Now, this one, I'm very curious. Please write down in the comments if you've had this experience when you can sense someone's true feelings, even when they're trying to hide them. So intuition, this is also a form of empathy. It's a feeling when you can sense that no matter what they look like on the outside, the smile they're trying to put on their face, for example, you can sense that there's something not quite right on the inside and for them, that they're not happy, that they're, angry, sad, whatever it is. And they maybe are not wanting to share that fully, or maybe feel they don't feel safe or comfortable sharing it fully. I remember when I was a child, I used to notice this a lot. I was a very sensitive, empathic child. And so I could tell when the adults around me were pretending to be happy, usually, or at least pretending to be fine, when really they were upset or sad or hurt or something else. Yeah, so do let me know if you've had that experience. Do you feel that your empathy, your empathic sense of the other person is really sensitive, or maybe not so much? If you want to strengthen your intuition, the key will be paying attention to these signals. Pay attention to the signals your feelings and instincts give you during these everyday moments when you're trying to remember something, when you're trying to decide yes or no, and how you feel with different people in your life. If you like this little video, if you want to hear more about the Intuition Zine, you want to catch our next edition, which is coming out soon. We just finished it. Head over to Art School Mystics and you can subscribe to our newsletter. You can also just hit like and the notifications bell and get the notification when we post our next video about intuition, issue number 2, your intuition superpower. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.